Black smoke, a dull reddish haze flickering upon the backdrop of the mountains rising from the sea. Panic screams could be heard no matter how hard she tried to purge them from her mind. The dying were not of the same people, yet the crimson of their blood was all the same to the hungry earth. Malaia beheld the ruin of her city with tears in her eyes, equal parts grief and fury at the hellish scene before her. Raising her claws once more at the ready, she dives once more into the fray, a whirlwind of terror to the bloodthirsty invaders. A slash here, a parry there. None withstood her wrath as she cut down scores of enemy fighters. She glances up from her work, just in time to witness a warhammer connect with her temple, and her vision fades, with her hopes of saving her people from their doom. Malaia awoke with a start. Just a dream, then a nightmarishly real version of her memories from that night. She glanced over her side to see her brother, Ethereal, enter the folds of her tent, a grim expression on his face. He informed her that their quarry had fled through the deepest parts of the forest that lay before them. Monolithic, trees were interwoven into intricate patterns of branches, trunks, and foliage, thick enough to cast the forest floor into shadow. Ethereal flipped his blades into the air, one after another, and deftly caught them in a single fluid motion. Gesturing to the tracks they had been following, Malaia read his intent clearly. An unspoken agreement passed between them. There would be no survivors. The night fell without a sound, blanketing the wooded area. The siblings were passing through in complete silence as they closed in upon their prey. Large gashes here and there from hungry axe blades marked the passage of the detachment they were following. Every so often, the two would come upon an artificial opening where the trees seemed to have been the densest. The small army ahead of them had, in their rush to make camp, completely devastated the area to make a way directly through the vegetation. Smoke rose some distance ahead of them, along with the scent of meat and the raucous voices of men at war. The cooking fire sent a message to the hunters. The hunted were utterly unaware of their peril and were at ease after setting up camp for the end of the day in a large clearing the warriors had created by hacking, burning and tearing into the verdant surroundings. Two shadows slipped in and out of the gatherings of warriors in various degrees of drunkenness, and after each fire was visited, the light and warmth of each was wasted on unseeing eyes and flesh growing cold in the sleep of death. Half of the entire army was laid to rest as quickly as the innocent lives they had claimed. During their countless invasions of peaceful lands, another sizable group lay on the opposite side of the glade, deepest in the shadows created by the treetops and the darkness cast outside of the firelight. In between this encampment and the siblings, there was a target of more importance. The commander's tent was heavily guarded by elite soldiers clad in strange black armor, wielding wicked-looking halberds and falchions, stained by the blood of the helpless and the brave alike. No liquor had passed their lips that night or any other since their assignment to their commander's safety, and all were alert and full of menace to any that meant him harm. Ethereal steeled himself for the real fighting that was about to begin and called out with a soft voice, whispering to the souls of the doomed. Almost in a trance, the guards seemed to move under a will that was not their own towards the darkness of the trees surrounding the tent. Ethereal glanced at Malaia and nodded once. The signal had been given, and they were committed to the destruction of these murderous folk. Concealing his left-hand blade behind his back, he swiftly made his way to the first pair of warriors and cut them down, soundlessly, without a single effortless stroke. This broke the spell upon the rest of them, and they howled in fury as they charged the would-be assassin. Foolish mistake. Within the space of 20 seconds, the headless corpses toppled to the earth, courtesy of Malaia bursting in amongst them from behind, taking a life with every wild slash until the ground was satisfied with their offerings of blood. Almost simultaneously, cries erupted from the remainder of the army past where the elite guards were fighting with Malaia and Exil. A huge shape, mottled green and gray-brown, was tearing into the terrified soldiers located there. The siblings saw hardly more than a blur until all of the intruders had fallen quiet. When the beast stopped and pondered their intrusion, head cocked almost quizzically to one side, left forelegs slightly lifted as if searching out potential threats from these fellow killers. The shape seemed to judge them capable but unwilling to visit more destruction upon the trees. It dipped its massive, spiked head plates in a show of deference, and melted away into the night. Amidst all the noise, one final cry emitted from the large tent nearby. The commander stepped out of his quarters and taunted the two with the head of their elder. Freshly taken that evening as a part of the festivities celebrating another victory for the invading forces, Malaia cried out in sorrow at the familiar face bruised and bloodied by the tortures that were certain to have been endured at the hands of these barbarians. Remembering the day she first connected with her soulstone, the young woman brandished the claws the elder had bestowed upon her and screamed in a voice full of righteous anger. A spike of pain seemed to register upon her face, and she went staggering about while holding her head with the palms of her clawed hands. Exil saw a rage erupt in his sister that he had not witnessed to this point. A strange amber glow suffused her body just as the commander thrust his spear into her stomach, while she stumbled around the fortifications by the command tent. Surprised, both Exil and the attacker stared at the haft of the weapon that had a fraction of a second ago seemed to deal a death blow to his sister. It was shattered and split all along its length, and the spear point had disintegrated completely upon contact with Malaia's aura. Almost in shock herself, she quickly recovered and took her final head of the encounter with an overlapping slash from both claws that severed the neck of the man from both sides. Chest heaving in pain at the sights all around them, she looked up at her brother from her knees as she cradled the remains of their kinsman. Sobbing uncontrollably at their loss, a look between them passed, another unspoken agreement to continue their two-man war against the aggressors, until the total annihilation of the murderers was complete. No rest, no quarter given, no more blood to be shed unless it was that of the enemy. Determined to see it through to the end, the siblings set off once more into the shadows, searching for their next target to destroy. Thanks for watching my voiceover of the official lore from Malaia. If you want to see more myth lore videos as well as other ethereal content, give me a like. Let me know what you guys think of Malaia and her new rework down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out White Sand's channel as well as Undying Games' official YouTube channel, which you can find in the description below. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time.